skill saws, chop saws, table saws, band saws, jig saws, fine saws, sawzalls. Saws dominate construction. You know that. Right now I'm going to show you 4 saws, not in that list, probably not in your toolbox that you're going to wish you had, especially one that I saw for the first time yesterday that I've just got to point you to because this little guy could be a low caliber game changer. So these 2 blocks represent walls. I didn't want to get down on the floor to demonstrate. Let's say this is a piece of baseboard. It's actually casing. But let's say you need to put baseboard around a corner. And it's stain grade, which means you can't caulk it. I mean, you have to get a perfect miter unless you don't use a miter and you cope the joint. We're going to get a really nice joint and never even make a mark with a pencil. Watch this. So when you're coming to an inside corner with casework, millwork, baseboards, you think about mitering. Yes, right? I mean, that's not a bad miter. Now, if the wall's not 90 degrees, it becomes problematic. And a guy's always wrestling with, how do I shim it? How do I shave off a little? Do I fill it with putty? I mean, what do I do? Well, if you cope a joint, most of these problems, especially the problems if your house is not square, go away. Like this. First move, 90 degrees from the left, in this case, a 45-degree miter from the right. Obviously that doesn't fit, so the coping saw is going to make this joint, and you never even get out your pencil. So you've got to visualize that the line between the face of the miter and the face of the board is where you're cutting. For the camera, I'm going to mark it with my pencil. So you can see that that is the line we're going to try to cut. Little back angle. I begin to follow that line just as soon as I can. This is a pull saw, so it makes it very much more controllable. When you come up to a tight corner, particularly in that direction, you just come out of the cut, break it off, and then resume your cut right at the outside point to try to keep that as sharp as you can. Here's another example of interrupting your cut. So then I just start right again at that step. And then try to curve that out. If I would have started from the other side, I could actually, sometimes you can get out your utility knife and finish this. Clean up if it needs cleaning. Let's go over and have a look. You can do a little more back angle, but that's not going to open up over time. No putty required. You can put a little pressure on there. You can push it in. It doesn't matter if that corner is a 90 or not, because this will nudge right in there, and that clamp kind of quit us just a little bit, but you get the idea. By the time you've done 3 of these, they're all going to look a lot better than that one. A coping saw is a nice tool. So the classic, right? Classic. This is even a Diston. It's not super collectible, and it's not in great shape because I never use these. Now my friend Steve Ellis in Texas busts my chops because he uses them and he sharpens them and he restores them. But a few years ago, I picked this up. I don't know why. It was that, right? And obviously it's less than this. But in the day and age of electricity, and especially now cordless electricity, heavy, long cutting assignments are never done like this. Turns out, though, you ought to have one of these. Now, I've used this, I don't know, 8 or 10 times. It's not as sharp as it was. But there are times when a short, fast, sharp little handsaw is going to save you time and make a cut you couldn't make any other way. Maybe like this. This is a little piece of cedar. It's soft. It doesn't have a chance. That's faster than going to the truck, right? Now, if it's something bigger, here's a 2x4, a Douglas fir 2x4. 19 strokes. That might still be faster than going to the truck. And if it's razor sharp, the way it comes off the shelf, these things are lethal. So this is just an overdone demonstration to show you that maybe you ought to go get one of these things and just have it, because one particular moment it's going to be the right thing. So 2 or 3 things. A Japanese pull saw is an elegant tool that I've been fairly unfamiliar with. I bought a little one a few years ago for cutting off a door jamb or something, and they're great. And then Luke Wilson, my friend in Great Britain, sent me this one. And we just did a react video to the Shoyan Japanese carpenter house build. And that guy uses these all the time to perfection. And I could see that it was quiet, minimal dust, chunks are not flying around, and that old boy knew exactly what he was doing. Fine tooth, coarser cut. So you've got to cut off a dowel. I had to do that a few times on this bench. Listen to that. So controllable. And the Shoyan used it on some bigger cuts. So I'm a novice with this, but I can just see that there are times when if a guy was familiar, you could work a little magic. So I was going to show you a keyhole saw, right? Or a compass saw, the long, tapered, but I mean, you've seen one, you've seen them all, until you've seen what Milwaukee's just figured out. Look at that. And everybody asks themselves, why didn't I think of that? You can put a Sawzall blade in there. You can get a concealed carry permit and put it in your pocket. Sorry, you guys in Great Britain probably aren't even allowed to have these. But you can put any of the blades that the market has produced for Sawzalls. Look at that. Just look at it. Hacksaw, jigsaw, fine tooth. Now clearly you wouldn't want to cut through a 2x4 with a 16-penny nail embedded in it. But equally clearly, you put one of these in there, and now your drywall saw fits in your pocket. Is that cool or what? A little hard to get out of there. Anyway, I never would have thought I would ever have seen an improvement on the old keyhole saws, but there it is. And I don't think I'll ever see an improvement on a coping saw. And the Japanese pull saw has gone through every possible iteration over the thousands of years. Those guys have been doing magnificent work. Check out that Shoyan carpenter. And then Stanley bringing these little pocket-size cross-cut wood saws. I don't know. Anyhow, think about it. Show your people what you want for Christmas. Probably not that, but probably any one of those would fit in anybody's stocking. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman. Keep up the good work.